everybody, it's Grace. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about planning your wedding. Wedding Planning 101. He put a ring on it, now what? So today I want to give you a list of what I think is important. I know some people already have planned the important things, and I know some people don't know where to start. I was one of those people. I didn't really have a lot of help. I had my mom, and that was about it, and my sister. Well, both of them together kind of helped me along with my wedding planning, but a lot of this stuff I just figured out for myself. I know there are a lot of websites like The Knot, Wedding Wire. You can always Google some sites. I can't think of any right now, but if you just Google wedding, there will be about 18 different ones just planning up. I think brides.com has helpful hints too. I think that's what's under it. But here's some things that I feel like they left off and that I personally needed to do for my wedding. I know the most important thing that you're going to be thinking of right now is deciding on a date, and it doesn't have to be a specific date. It can be the year. Always start with the year. Do you want to get married this year, next year, in 2 years, 8 years? Do you want to get married at all? If not, you should probably click off planning the wedding. But if you are planning a wedding and you don't know where to start, definitely start with the year. Even if you just narrow it down to the year, you can always figure out the month, the day, anything within that. You do want to try to plan within a certain year of getting engaged. If you're getting engaged at the end of the year, I would suggest planning it for the year after or even 2 years, just because it is a crunch time. If you're doing it all within that 1 year, it's going to be hard to find a dress. I know a lot of makers take at least 3 months to make a dress that's made to order, especially if you're going couture or even if you're just going pretty simple. It does take some time to make that dress. And let's face it, if you are planning a wedding within 1 year, it's going to be hard to find a bridal salon and a dress that you love. So I usually suggest, well, what I did, I'm really not a wedding guru, but here's some things that really helped me. I suggest that you try to aim for 1.5 years to maybe 2 years, just because it's a lot easier to plan with more time. If you are crunched for time, I don't know your circumstances, just keep that in mind. So once you have the year down, try to get the month down. Maybe it's your anniversary month, or maybe you just love June, or maybe there's no birthdays in September. Here's where you're going to put my wedding. Really narrow it down to the month and the year, and then the date will eventually come to you somehow. Usually the venues might decide your date too. Which brings me to my next point. Location, location, location. Do you want to have a destination wedding? Do you want to have a local wedding? There are pros and cons to both, so make sure that you have a pros and cons list and list out your options. If you want to do a local wedding, sometimes local weddings are more expensive if you actually do a destination wedding. And keep in mind, if there are a lot of people on your guest list, destinations weddings will always cut your wedding guest list in about half, maybe more. So if you are doing a destination wedding, just think that it's going to be at least, the least they say is 25% of your guest list will not come due to either health issues, extenuating circumstances, funds, traveling. It's just a lot of things. So if you definitely need like your grandmother, your grandfather, your sister, people that you want there, think about them traveling to your venue if you are having a destination wedding. So sometimes most people do go for local weddings. I didn't. It actually made it easier for me because I didn't have to take a lot of the planning, and I got many vacations in between now in the wedding, because I do have to go down there. I have to speak with the vendors. I have to check out the venue. I have to relax and figure out other things for the wedding. So just keep in mind there are pros and cons to both. My pro was that I got to visit Florida even more and go to Disneyland, and I got to marry, I'm going to get to marry my future husband in a place that I absolutely love. So that was my pros, and all of those really outweighed everything. But yeah, there are cons to having a destination wedding. So just figure out, where do you want to get married? Even if you don't know the venue, always think about the state, because we actually had Colorado, Florida, and New Jersey on our list. Don't ask me where I got Colorado, but yeah, that was on our list. So definitely think about those things. Once you narrow down the location of where you want your wedding, your venue will actually be a breeze. I mean, at least it was for me. It was pretty easy to figure out where we wanted to get married after where we were going to get married. So also think about when you research your venues. Here's my big tip to everybody. Research, research, research. Definitely research your venues. Here's what's going to be your pros and cons about your venues. Price, what's included, what is extra, can you bring certain things in? Like, I know a lot of people now are in the gluten-free trend. I know a lot of people do need gluten-free just because of celiac disease, but some people are on the trend thinking that it's a lot healthier. That's a whole nother rant that I'm going to get into. But definitely think about people who are gluten-free. A lot of people are vegan. You have to think about them. If there is a venue that won't let you bring in your own vegan cake, gluten-free cake, or anything like that, your appetizers, entrees, anything like that, you definitely have to think about that. So just think about it. Make sure that you do your research. And while I'm on the topic of your venue, before you pick your themes and colors, definitely look at your venue. This is going to affect the whole scheme of things. If you pick a pink and turquoise wedding, I don't know, I'm just thinking of outrageous colors. Pink and turquoise does not go with every venue. Some venues you have to think about what their carpet's going to look like, what the walls are going to look like, what their actual ceremony space is going to look like. So you don't want to clash, you want to embrace with the venue. Yeah? Yes, sorry. I get really, really sidetracked, and I'm going to tell you that I actually made this video before, and it took me 3 times to try to upload it, but there was no sound coming out, so hopefully this time it works. If not, I'm going to be very upset. And it was a 30-minute video, so I'm really going to try to keep this one down. It's not helping because I'm getting sidetracked right now. So anyway, venue. Definitely look for that. When you find your venue, you want to find your budget. Do you want to spend $20,000 on a venue that's not going to do anything extra? All it gives you is your venue. It doesn't even give you chair rentals. Or are you going to pick the little less pricey place, but it includes food, drink, an open bar, and a full dance floor? You really have to think about these. You might have to sacrifice what you love for what you like just because of your budget. Really, budget is the most important thing. If you're paying for it yourself, you have to think about what you can afford. You do not, definitely do not want to put the most expensive wedding choices on a credit card or take out a loan for your wedding. Really, I'm going to tell you right now, this is my personal opinion. I know a lot of people have them, but I feel like the biggest mistake that you can make is take out a loan for a wedding, because you could put that loan towards your future home with your husband or wife. You don't want to do that. This is just, really, it's a party. It is. So you might have to just keep that in mind. It's a party to celebrate our love, not how we're going to become broke. So really think about your budget. You don't want, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can put on a credit card. If that is in your financial ability, yes, I say put it on your credit card, earn those extra mile points just so you can go to your wonderful honeymoon and not have to pay for tickets. But anyway, you really want to think about, like, is this wedding worth not having a beautiful home for me and my husband, maybe our future kids, or maybe you don't want to have kids. I don't know, dogs, cats. You could be a cat lady. You and your cat lady spouse. But you really want to think about those things. Those are the most important things. Don't go over budget for the garden lily chrysanthemum middle centerpiece. Think about your budget. And always remember that yes, you might be getting wedding money, but don't rely on that, because some people might just get you a gift. Yeah, it might be preferable if you want an envelope full of cash, but I mean, let's be honest, some people aren't going to give you an envelope full of cash. Some people don't have that much money. Don't expect others to pay for the things that you want. If that makes sense. I hope that's not harsh. I'm really trying not to be harsh. I'm just saying, like, keep in mind budget. It's very important. You really don't want to spend too much over what you can. A lot of people go into debt because of that, and it's a lot of things that actually cause divorce. Number one is money issues. So don't let this wedding become the end of your relationship. What's most important about that day is you and your husband or wife or whoever you love. So even though you are planning a wedding, just keep that in mind. Budget is very important. Another thing I want to bring up is the Pinterest craze. Pinterest can help you, but keep in mind it can also hurt you. Really, you can start like, pin on Pinterest for your future wedding. But also keep in mind that too many ideas can clash with your wedding idea theme. Sometimes it's better to do an entire possible weddings idea board and then take that possible weddings idea board and make it into a fizzled down board. Yeah, there's always that delete button. Yeah, you don't need bubbles and sparklers. Delete. You don't need a big frilly dress and your bridesmaids in a little skimpy dress. Delete. Yeah, the Pinterest craze can be helpful, but it can also be hurtful. Hello, Isabella. Welcome my dog, Isabella. Yes, okay, mommy loves you. Please get down. No. You also, thinking of the Pinterest craze, you also want to keep books, because if you don't have things to actually look at in a book, what's going to be very, very difficult to decide is, what do I like? I like everything on Pinterest, but how am I going to narrow this down? Just start thinking about lists. List vendors, list flowers, list colors, list whatever you want. Yes, these are your books. These are your books, binders, folders. Keep in mind that these are yours. You could write, I actually have an entire 3 books. You can write whatever you want. I think I have bullet points about cheese. Mac and cheese. Okay, that's what it was. Mac and cheese. I have an entire bullet point about mac and cheese because we're having a mac and cheese bar. Because that's the only thing that my fiance asked. Mac and cheese bar. So I have like Havara, I can't say that, whatever. Havara, cheddar, white cheddar, like just random things. Fontana. It's your wedding book. You don't have to show it to everybody. You can write down whatever you want, though. Yeah? So keep a book, keep a folder, anything that you like out of bridal magazines. I do encourage buying bridal magazines. If you love a dress, love an idea, whatever you love, rip it out, put it in that folder. Yeah, you're going to be much more prepared if you keep this in a folder. And when you do go dress shopping, here's what I like, here's what I don't like, here's what I love, don't give me satin. Yes. So it's a lot more organized if you keep things in a book or a binder. Yeah? And remember, Google is your best friend when you're coming in for a wedding, especially when it's like, what does the bride pay for? What does the groom pay for? What are the best places to honeymoon? Times of years that it's cold. What kind of flower is in my wedding month? Really, Google is your best friend when planning a wedding. It really is. You can ask it whatever and it won't laugh at you. Really. So, now that I got through your beginning planning steps, I'm just going to make some recommendations for you guys, because honestly, if I didn't do these things, I probably would have lost my mind, if we're being honest. I would have been worried a lot more. I probably would have freaked out on probably 15 people now. Thankfully, I'm not a bridezilla. Contrary to what my mother thinks, I'm not a bridezilla. If anything, I'm a bridechilla, because I just don't care. I got what I wanted. I don't care. I got the man that I love. I don't care about flowers. I don't care about scents. I don't care about what each bridesmaid wears. If anything, my mom is kind of a momzilla. So, yeah. Contrary to what she thinks. But here are some of my recommendations. Even if you can't afford these things, you don't have to have these things. But it's really, it helped me a lot. Yeah. My number one recommendation is a engagement party, or even a family dinner, or a barbecue, depending on what month you got engaged. The website that I actually looked at, it says 3 months after you got engaged is the deadline to have an engagement party, and that's what we did. We did our engagement party within 2 months, which was pretty easy to plan because we didn't have to do anything. We just kind of, we booked a restaurant, we booked a private room, and we had it all served and catered, and we didn't have to bring a thing. We did bring some decorations, though. They looked pretty cool. We just brought balloons, those fake silk petals, which were gold and white, which looked awesome. We had a little congratulations, Grace and Joe banner. It was pretty awesome. Like, I highly recommend an engagement party / dinner / whatever. Just so, because some families haven't even met yet. You gotta think about, like, has my dad met my fiance's sister? Really, it's important for families to meet. At least that's what it was with ours. My family is very important to me, so I would not want to get married to my fiance unless my parents met his parents. And that's very important to me. It really is. Like, if your family is the most important thing to you, or even if it's not, and you still haven't met, like, his aunts, his uncles, and his brother, really, you should probably have a dinner. Just be like, hi, I'm Grace. I'm getting married to your nephew, your brother, your sister, your whatever. So my engagement party, I feel like, is a very important thing to consider when you're planning a wedding. It's not necessary, but it kind of is necessary. It's not necessary, but it is. Just a family dinner, too. You don't even have to pay for it. Everybody can just bring a potluck dinner. But I feel like it's pretty important to have it. Another thing, if you are actually having a engagement dinner or a party or anything just to celebrate you getting married, start registering. Just register for a few things a week. Just like, I could use a crock pot, I could use a new dish set, I could use whatever. Just think about things that maybe you don't need, but you can definitely use an upgrade. Definitely. Like, we have a vacuum cleaner that we've had for probably 3 years now. And we were like, it'd be nice if we could get a vacuum cleaner. We just got a crock pot from my uncle So that was very nice to have. Another thing to keep in mind is to don't stress. Yes? Plan your wedding. Don't obsess over it. Take everything a week at a time. If you don't know what type of invitations you want, this is where Pinterest can help you. Pin, pin, pin. Have your mother's approval or your sister's approval, whoever is close to you, or even your fiance. My fiance really didn't care about invitations, neither did I, and that's what the hard part was, because we didn't care. Like, whatever. Just pick me something pretty. So really, it doesn't matter. Just think about it. Just plan your wedding. Don't obsess over it. This shouldn't be the only thought on your mind 24/7. You're planning a party to celebrate love. How much more fun could that be? And my last recommendation is to definitely sign up at a wedding website. They have checklists. They have an actual wedding website that they'll customize for you. You don't have to pay a penny. I know free wedding websites that I know off the top of my head are The Knot and Wedding Wire. Those two I know you don't have to pay for. They have the checklists. They have a timeline of what you should be doing and when. You can stray from it. Yes, you don't have to freak out about it. Like, I didn't order my bridesmaids dresses until last week. And my wedding is in January. So really, you can stray from it just as long as it's okay. Like, I know some designers, especially for wedding dresses and bridesmaids dresses, you definitely do want to have when you can order them and when you can get them in, and then when you can get them sized. Because that's really important, especially if you're losing and gaining weight like crazy. I know I'm kind of in between. Been working up at the gym. Kudos to me. I actually lost 15 pounds. So, but that's a whole nother whatever. But definitely sign up at those places. They're helpful. Really, they have ideas. I know The Knot. I have been on that thing like crazy every week. I love TheKnot.com. Wedding Wire has actually a more in-depth timeline, but I feel like there's some things on The Knot that Wedding Wire does not offer. Like, Wedding Wire, to my knowledge, does not offer a wedding website that you can make yourself. I could be wrong. Once again, I like The Knot a lot better though. But, I mean, both websites have helped me personally. And so has Brides.com. A lot of things have really helped. So yes, that's the end of my Wedding Planning 101. He put a ring on it. Now what? So thank you for listening to me talk for almost a half hour. And really, I'm going off on too many rants and just... I digress a lot. I really apologize. So thank you for sitting around and listening to me to talk. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please comment down below. I'll be glad to help you. I'm really not a wedding guru. I'm just trying to help you. I'm kind of as lost as you right now, but together we can make it through. All right. Thanks for listening to me, guys. Bye.